we have Richard and Karen Carpenter in the studio with us. You know, I pulled over to the side of the road first time I heard that song because I wanted to see if my ears were telling me it was right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. After so much noise on the commercial scene, to hear something, you know, that good.
Thank you.
Surprised me. And then when Richard tells me, and Richard doesn't look to be much more than 25 or
23, 24.
And you
Bingo.
You scored the orchestra.
Yeah.
You did all the charts.
Uh-huh.
Plus they overdubbed. The voices you hear are Karen and Richard overdubbed 30 times.
Let me see.
About 30 voices.
Yeah, there's 30
15,
voices. We
yeah.
overdub it, let me see, 2 parts at a time, 3 times each. So usually it's no less than 18 voices. And on some things, when we really wanted to be gross, there's, I
Gross?
think, well,
Okay.
huge-o. There's one on
Never Fall in
Never
Love
Fall in
Again.
Love Again on the album, in
Yeah.
the part where it goes, here to remind you, here
Yeah.
to remind you.
Yeah.
There's
Have you been getting any
39
poison
voices.
pen letters from Dionne Warwick?
No,
Since that's been
we've
out?
met Dionne a couple of times. She's
Yeah.
really neat.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Yeah,
But, I mean, we haven't gotten into anything.
you didn't build the studio, too, that you did then, did you?
No. Herb did that. Herb Alford has his own studios right on the A&M lot, which are just fantastic. And they just got done building, well, heck, A's only been built, what, a year and a half now? And he's just still building all
Yeah, it's the
huge
second largest
mix-down
recording
rooms.
studio in the world now.
All these
Herb
mix-down
Alpert's?
rooms.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
great.
it's sensational. All the people are going in there to record, you know,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah, we
From
heard
all
we
the
can get
different-
in.
Yeah.
Capitol's in there and
RCA. They're all, not RCA. Well,
sure.
yes, they
a lot
are.
of them come
They're
in there.
really
'Cause they're so
sensational
advanced.
studios. And they've got Herb's building all mixed-down rooms in the back
Mhm.
and a basketball court. No. And, you know, it's like A&M. The lot itself is just like a great big country club because nobody bothers you, nobody pushes you, and you can go in whenever you feel like it, and it's just like a great big home. It's really great.
I guess that's based on the assumption that anybody who is there must know what they're doing
Yes.
and shouldn't be tampered with, I guess.
Well, it's not, well,
We're back into the potatoes.
I wouldn't go that far. We had potatoes for lunch. And, well, it's, you know, when we went in, Herb, we signed, you know, directly to Herb, so when he said, do what you want.
Yeah.
And he just gave us everything that we wanted, and nobody pushed us, you know. He just let Richard go to work.
Of course, the big mystery is, at least, you know, from this side of the table, with Richard being 23 and you 20 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
How did you do all this so quick? Where did you get all the know-how to put together the thing so fast?
It's sitting next to me.
I don't know. I grew up listening to records, you know, from when I was about 2.
Yeah.
My dad had tons and tons of 78s when I was born.
Yeah.
And I grew up listening to Tchaikovsky and Bourdain and Rachmaninoff, Harry James, Spike Jones,
Red
Red
Nichols.
all sorts of different music. And when rock, and pop, I listened to Guy Mitchell and all
Yeah.
that. And then rock happened. I really dug that. And it seems like it all came in together. I learned, you know, how to orchestrate and everything. I heard it, a lot of it. I used to hear all this stuff in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I went to college, I learned how to get it out of my head onto paper, you know. And
Well, it was
I don't
funny
know, it
because
just came out,
when we
yeah.
did the first album, there's a tune on there called Someday, and it's just me and piano and 45-piece orchestra. And he says we did the piano and the vocal track first.
Mhm.
So when we overdubbed when we put on all the orchestra, it was kind of rough because the orchestra had to follow me,
Right.
which I wasn't doing it in person. It was
there's no track.
kind of a
follow.
problem. But he comes in and he says, now, I don't know what this is going to sound like, because I just, you know, dumped it out of my head. No, don't get upset if it doesn't sound good. That second verse came in, and the harp took off, and all those strings, I fell on the floor. It was ridiculous.
It's really so far out to hear something you've done for the first time, you know, actually being done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know what it's
Like
going
a
to sound
baby
like
being
till it
born,
comes out.
watching it
Oh, it's
take
far
shape.
out. It really is.
The classic background that you talked about came out for both of you because the same influences that are true of you are true of Karen as well. You can tell, you know, if you listen closely to your singing, you hear a whole bunch of things that singing teachers try to tell people, and very often what will happen, at least as it's been my experience, is to see somebody take 2 lessons and then quit because they're saying, look, I don't want to get that, straight and
Right.
all the rest.
Right.
I want to do my own thing.
You can.
That's what happened.
What you do is you take the. I studied years of classical piano, just to get my technique in shape so I could play the licks I wanted to,
Sure.
I mean, so many people that come up and they say, wow, I hear these things in my head and I can't get them out in the piano, How do you do it? You study Bach and Beethoven and Czerny and all these things. You study the classics, even if you don't want to play them, to get your hands into shape,
Yeah.
It's the same with voice. We pronounce our words so you can hear what we're singing.
That's right.
You learn that when you take singing lessons. It doesn't mean you have to sing everything so straight-laced. It doesn't mean that.
Well, we
at all.
didn't actually, as you say it, take singing lessons. We were in a choir at Long Beach State College where I went to school, and the choir director there, his name is Frank Pooler, and he's a genius with vocals, just a genius, and he can see, like, there's certain choirs, where you have like 80 people and they sound like 80 people yelling, you know.
We're all singing solo.
Yeah.
And that's not.
That's the
I
old
mean, that's
school.
one school, but Pooler's thing is to make 80 sound like one.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do because
Okay.
if you can't, you're supposed to be able, in his technique, to be able to blend with anybody else that's in that choir.
Yeah.
And like if you've got a monstrous vibrato, that's
You got to learn how to control it.
you have to. You
Right.
have to be able
Sing
to straighten
straight.
it out. Or,
It's a
you
new
know, like there's a
school.
lot of people that sing vibrato by twitching their lip. I mean,
Well,
that's
Sinatra
insane,
used to do it. He used to move
you know.
his chin.
Well, that or you move your forehead or your left elbow. But I mean, that's ridiculous. If you're born with